Hello and welcome to another live windsurf coaching. Did you sail this week? How was it if you did? I'm in Hawaii broadcasting from Haiku, Maui. It is very wet here. It's been raining like crazy, thundering like crazy. The whole house was shaking last night with the thunder, and the night before that. It's been really stormy. I think there's been some windsurfing. I saw on Instagram that some of the guys went to one of these spots on the south side to get some sailing. I didn't. I've been working on some of this coaching stuff and just getting settled back on Maui. I had one. Yeah, after I saw you guys last week Sunday, I sailed, and it was that Jaws day. So the waves were pretty big. I didn't go to Jaws. As you guys know, I just arrived on Maui. I was still dealing with my jet lag. I think it's really important to ease into your trip when you travel, especially if you're changing time zones. Don't push yourself too hard. That's how injuries happen. So I finished the live stream. We went down the coast to Kanaha, which is one of the easier spots on Maui, but can still be super fun. Lowers, which is I would say the main break at Kanaha, you've got lowers and uppers, was completely closing out. It was too big. But there were a few guys windsurfing out at uppers, and the waves were, I don't know, 4 to 6 meters, but very nice, and it's gentle there as much as it can be. It's way less intimidating than Hokipa, and then of course way less intimidating than Jaws. Also smaller waves. There were some big waves, and I hadn't windsurfed in 3 months because I'd been in Europe, and so I was easing into it. Felt good. Was fun session. Caught some big waves. It's on the outer reef, so it's way out to sea from the beach, uh, but it was fun. There was a situation that I witnessed that I want to bring up on the coaching because it relates and it might save your life. Let's check the chat first. Dum Dum, Jorg, Axel, Matt. Wow, we got everyone here. Nice. Tomas, Max, Suna, Rich, Stefan. Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Did you guys get in the water this week? If you didn't get in the water, what did you do? Have you been in the gym? Have you been on the couch? What are you doing? Playing video games? Jeff. Nice. Jeff was in Ben's clinic in Cape Town. Awesome. John. Yeah, Kanaha is fun. So anyway, so I'm windsurfing at the outer reef at Kanaha. So it's outer uppers. The waves are big. It takes a few tacks to get out there. So I'm going, there's a little channel going through the channel. It's not always calm, but mostly calm channel. And there's a guy with a broken mast, very broken mast, broken extension, swimming, trying to get in. So I see him and I want to get out there. And I'm like, do I have to stop? It's like I'd have to kind of tack a little bit upwind. It's like, do I have to stop to help him? Is he going to be okay? It's like, yeah, I've got to stop. So I go out, I tack, head back in to get to the guy. And this is like far out to sea. I mean, how far out to sea is this? A kilometer out to sea? And then the waves are even farther. Um, I don't know if it's I don't know how far it is, but it's far. And okay, so I see the guy, like figure out what's wrong with the gear. Okay, is the mast broken? Because otherwise, if you break your extension, which is what it looked like at first, because he did break the extension, you can take off the pin, put that in your mast base, and downhaul, and the sail won't have nearly enough downhaul, but you'll be able to sail in like that. And it's always easier to sail in than swim in, right? but his mast was also broken in 3 pieces, and so I was like, "Okay," because I there's no way I could help pull him in, the wind was too light, and so I was like, "Okay, you're gonna get pounded one way or another, to get into the beach. It is better to get pounded sooner. So you've got to start swimming to where those waves are breaking so that they'll push you in and get you to the beach." And he said something like, "Yeah, I just want to swim in the channel. There's no waves." And my response to that was just, "No, you can't. That is death. The channel is death. If you're trying to swim in the channel, you're gonna die." Because what a channel is, it's where the water is deeper, and what's happening is you have all the waves that are pushing the water in. That water has to go out somewhere, and so it goes out in the channel. And this is a really good lesson. If you ever break down, if you're ever having to swim in with or without your gear in a spot with waves, you need to swim in where there are waves. You need to be where the waves are breaking. If you're trying to swim in where the waves are not breaking, that's often where the water is going back out to sea. And when the waves are big, that water can be moving very quickly, and you'll never win against the current. One of the number one rules of the ocean, I guess there are multiple number one rules of the ocean. And that sounds crazy that there are multiple number one rules. But when you're dealing with the ocean and it's so powerful and it's so life or death, there are multiple number ones. I know that sounds crazy, but one of those is never fight a current, never swim against a current, because the ocean will always win. And that water is sucking out to sea. You don't want to go out to sea when you've got broken gear. You want to go to the beach. And the only way to do that is to get pounded, to go to the break and get pounded. And this wasn't the first time that I've seen someone in that situation where they're broken down, trying to get back to the beach, going to the channel because it looks safe because there are no waves breaking, and trying to swim in there, when really that is how you die. I'm not being dramatic. That is how you die. Like trying to fight a current, trying to swim in a channel, that's how things go wrong. You have to get pounded, and getting pounded is hard, but that's how you get back to the beach. You got to let the waves push you in. So if you're trying to get back to the beach, you need to be where the waves push you in. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but it is important to say because it could save your life. The ending of the story, surprise twist ending. So I told him, "You've got to swim there and you've got to get pounded. You'll get into the beach." And then he was like, "Are the lifeguards still on duty?" And I was like, "I don't know. I also don't know if they'll come out and get you, but I'll go check." And then as I'm going to do that, there was a kite surfer that came by, and the kite surfer pulled him in, and he still had to get pounded because I mean the kite surfer, the wind wasn't very strong, so it's not like they were able to just go in perfectly. The kite surfer pulled him down, downwind, and kind of into the break. So Dom Dom is saying, how big was it? I don't know, 5 meters, big, but I mean at that the waves are not super powerful at lowers, so you can. I mean, there's a lot of different strategies for dealing with it, and if you can't handle those strategies, you shouldn't be out there when the waves are that big. What are some of the strategies for dealing with waves when it's that big, especially when your mast is broken? It's just ditching the equipment, and swimming under the white water, and then swimming after the equipment again because it's going to get pushed in. Okay, you're going to have to do a lot of swimming, but that might be safer than trying to hold the gear. And this is true for a place like Kanaha. It might not be true of every location, but the gear will get pushed inside. It will sort of sit and it'll start drifting down the coast with the current, but it's not going to get sucked back out to sea again. And so you'll be able to recover your gear, and just come in separately as long as you're where the waves are breaking. If you're in the channel, then the gear is going to get sucked out to the channel if you let go, sucked out to sea through the channel if you let go of it. Uh, So that's one strategy. If your gear is broken and you're gonna get pounded by big waves, you could just let go of the gear, dive under the waves where it's safe, let the waves push your gear in, and then you go in after it. All right, York had 2 freestyle sessions and was in Hamburg during the week. Nice. Max says he's been doing 100 press ups and squats a day and hope to continue throughout the year. Nice. Hey, Chris in Santa Cruz. Wow, sounds fun. Waddell had some good conditions. Nice. All right, do we have any other questions about big waves, channels, currents, how to deal with those situations? Because I think this is an important topic. I don't want to rush past it in case it could save your life, because these situations, they are life or death. And I don't mean that in a dramatic way, because if you know what to do, they're life situations. There's no problem. If you don't know what to do, they're death situations. So it's different than like going in a cage with a tiger where it's a roll of the dice whether you're going to live or die. It's if you have the right knowledge, you're fine. And it's an easy situation. It might be intimidating, but it's easy to get through it. You just follow the steps. If you don't know what to do, that's when things can go wrong. So if there are any questions, I'm here to answer them. And otherwise, I will load up the Facebook group. Let me get that loaded up. I have a few other announcements to make as well, which I'll start to go over as I get the Facebook group loaded. Chris is saying that there are strong currents in California as well, where he windsurfs. Yeah, it's really good to be aware of currents. In surfing, you have to be more aware of the currents because you're paddling around, whereas in windsurfing, we're flying on top of the water, and so we can be less aware, but it is very good to be educated about currents and aware. All right. I'm going to get the Facebook group loaded up. And on Facebook, I guess this is Jeff. Or who is this? Oh, it's Dana. It's Dana. Gosh, sorry, Dana. I always think you're Jeff. I don't know why when I just see a Facebook comment pop up from Oregon. Dana is a legend. I learned a lot from Dana when I was a kid, and he is windsurfing a lot on the Oregon coast. And yeah, cool. There's a Boardhead International. You can see some of the photos there. All right, before I get into the Facebook stuff, let me answer some long overdue questions. Hey, Steen. So the Vulcan course is planned out. It is ready to pre-order. It's going to start on the 8th of February. So that's a Wednesday. It's going to be 3 live sessions. So the 8th of February, the 15th, and the 22nd at this time. So it's going to start at the same time as the live stream. So 9 a.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. European Central Time. If it's going to be a similar format to the tacking course. I know some of you guys were on the Fast Tack Masterclass. It's a similar format where we've got 3 lessons on Zoom. There's a WhatsApp support group, and I break down the Vulcan, give you a path to go on to learn it. I'm pretty excited. This is making these courses. I always forget how hard it is to design a course because I want the courses to be really good. So what I do is I've got these flashcards, and so I come up with, how do you guys see that? Like the different topics that are important, and I put them out on all these index cards, and then rearrange those index cards to fit the different workshops. So we have 3 workshops. So workshop 1 gets these index cards, workshop 2 gets these ones over here, and workshop 3 is more of a review. So actually workshop 3 doesn't get any index cards because it's mainly a review of how you guys are handling the course. Hopefully we've got some footage that I can look at, and we spend the workshop going through the footage and answering questions. What I love about the Zoom format is it's interactive. And so the beginning of the workshop is a lecture, sort of like these live streams. And then at the end, or throughout the process, actually, we have questions and breakout groups. And I think that's really useful for the learning. And then supplementing everything is the WhatsApp group. And in the WhatsApp group, you've got everyone else that's doing the course at the same time. And what I've found is that having that peer pressure, that group dynamic, is really important for learning, because it pushes you, and inspires you. You've got a group of people that can help answer questions in a different way that I can. I really like this format for virtual learning. For people who are in the TAC course, the Fast TAC Masterclass, let the other people know in the chat what that course was like. So if you were in the Fast TAC Masterclass, did you like it? What did you like about it? How did you like the format with the lectures? Because this will be similar. So this is for the Vulcan course, the air drive course. And the Vulcan's a great move. It's the introduction to new school freestyle. It's the first sliding move to learn. So all new school freestyle branches out from the Vulcan, whether you want to learn Sparks or Grubbies or Flockas or whatever else, Diablos, it all comes from the Vulcan. And I'm going to post the link where you can sign up for that course. I'm going to post that in the Facebook group after this. If there's someone that's not in the Facebook group but watches on YouTube, I will also post it to the YouTube channel. So on the YouTube channel, there's a place for announcements. I'll post it in there as well. I'm excited about this course. I think it's pretty cool. My process for making these courses is getting better and better as I'm doing more of them and realizing more and more about how to coach virtually. So I'm excited. We've got a new platform. It's the same platform that I'm going to transition the newsletter to. And so the newsletter is also changing. So the plan is that I'm going to keep doing a newsletter, but it's going to be free. And the analysis that I was doing with the newsletter is going to move to a think tank forum that's on the same site as where the courses are going to be hosted. And so then the idea is, and I'll explain all this more. I'm still in the process of figuring it out. And so we have the Facebook group now where you can post your videos, comments, questions, photos, feedback, all of that stuff. I read everything that's posted, go through it all. It's the source of material for the live stream. It's everything that it is. It's not changing. The think tank, which is what was formerly the Patreon, is where you get my more in-depth written articles and analyses. And so then the newsletter, which will now become free, is mainly links to other things. So linking to interesting techniques or articles or videos, and then the analysis of that is in the think tank. And with this forum, there should be the possibility for more discussion. So that was one of the main issues with the Patreon that I didn't like, is that there wasn't that much discussion. So hopefully now we can get some more discussion going, and it's linked with the courses. So it's all on the same platform. And so at the moment, it's just the Vulcan course. I'm going to keep putting courses together and put them up there. So it'll start to grow and be more than that. Okay, I'm going to load up the Facebook group. And let's just get into the coaching. And so just to say that thing one more time, if you're interested in the Vulcan course, I'm going to post the link to sign up on YouTube and in the Facebook group. So instructions for that, link for that will be on those two platforms. All right, time to get. Oh, one other thing before I load this up. I'm thinking about doing a masterclass on Maui in the beginning of May, something like the first week of May. So I want to gauge interest in that. So if there's enough interest, we'll do a masterclass on Maui, an in-person masterclass, the first week of May. We could maybe do it the end of April if there's interest for that. Let's see. I want to communicate with you guys who's interested in it, and yeah, but I think it would be fun. I think it'd be really fun to do something on Maui. All right, Matt says that the attacking course was great. It broke down moves into each step, allowing you to learn each step towards the whole move, which then you can continue to work on after the course has finished. Yeah, and so the Vulcan will be similar. What's cool about the Vulcan is I've been able to break it down in a progression and with exercises that I think are really easy to stick to. And then as long as you're putting in the reps, you're going to land the move. All right. Let's get into the coaching. Cool to hear that Christoph and Tomas are interested in a Maui masterclass. All right, let's see what's been posted. All right, we've got a post from Max in New Zealand who's interested in any tips to avoid over-rotating in the top turn. His thoughts are that he didn't narrow his hands as he hit the lip, and this left the sail with too much power. He wants to work on staying low and hanging off the boom in the top turn. All right, let's check the video out. Let's make it bigger. Nice speed. I like the dynamic speed in this bottom turn. So Max's self-coaching is that he didn't move his hands together enough. And then the sail is pulling him over, which causes the slide out. That definitely is part of what's happening. I like this bottom turn. What I like about it is that he's staying low. He's getting bent over at the hips. That's really important. Sticking the butt out. You could stay in the bottom turn position a little bit longer. Looks very windy, which makes this difficult. I find when it's as windy as this, that really getting low in the knees and really trying to hang from the boom, keep the butt low in the cutback really helps keep the board connected to the water. So hanging even lower and focusing on that high five. And so here you can see that the board goes flat. And so even before the board starts to slide, the board goes flat, which means that it's disconnected from the power of the wave. And so at this moment here, the moment of contact, you really want to make sure that the bottom of the board, the plane of the bottom of the board is lined up with the power source of the wave. So you don't want the board like this, you want it like this. And you don't want to be trying to turn it side to side. All you want to be doing is getting on your heels, getting that board presented, the bottom of the board presented to the power of the wave. So then the wave can do the work for you. So one of the concepts that will help you, Max, is trying to think about getting on your heels to get the board tilted over so that the power of the wave can hit the bottom of the board. And when it's windy like this, it can be really helpful to make your body smaller, really getting low in the knees, getting the butt low, really hanging, being compact. It really helps keep the control when you have conditions that are as windy as this. I think the concept will be really helpful because when the board goes flat, it's no longer connected to the power of the wave, and then that wind in the sail starts to pull you over. So really trying to stay in the power of the wave. And that's a more conceptual answer rather than a technical answer. But I think that that's what you'll find most helpful, Max, actually, rather than focusing on any bit of technique. Yes, if you bring your hands closer together, you're going to get less pull down the line. And maybe you would have made this cutback. Maybe you wouldn't have slid out. But you can also do good cutbacks with a wider grip, but then you've just got to be connected to the power of the wave. And that's a concept that will keep rewarding you. It pays compound interest because it's a concept that shows up over and over and over again, where you're getting the angle of the board, right? So you're thinking about controlling the board this way instead of this way. Does that make sense? So you're thinking about going toe to heel rather than moving the board left or right. And you want to make sure you get that board on the edge so that the power of the wave hits the bottom of the board rather than hitting the rail. There's a couple other small technical things that you can do that I'll mention. One is leading up to this cutback. If you move the sail across the body, and we talk about this as the S in the forearm. And so it's as you're coming out of the bottom turn and setting up into the cutback, and you move that sail across the body, it winds up your body for the cutback. It puts the sail in a more neutral position, so then you're not getting that pull down the line, which causes you to slide out. And it just sets you up for your cutback. So get that S in the forearm by moving that sail across the body, and that will help a lot for this. And it also, when you start doing that motion, it makes it easier to move the hands closer together, which definitely helps. It's not 100% necessary, though, moving the hands closer together. You can do good cutbacks with a wide grip, but then you really need to be connected to the power of the wave. So the technical tip would be moving that sail across the body, trying to get that S in the forearm as you come out of the bottom turn and set up for the cutback. Think of it sort of like winding up before your cutback. And then the conceptual coaching is to really think about keeping that board on its edge, so you're on your heels, and the power of the wave is connecting with the bottom of the board. So this curl in the wave is a perfect place to fit your board in it. And so I think about staying inside the curl, and I'm trying to just keep my body, my board, everything inside that curl. I don't want to come above it, out of it. I'm just in that curl, and then you're connected with the power of the wave, and the wave is doing the work for you. All right, Bart just got some new boards. He's recovered from his hip injury. Sorry to hear you were injured. I want to hear how the boards go. Some photos from Putzi. All right, here we've got a post from Jan, who's talking about the rock in Pozo. The rock to the right is Spanish territory, and any foreign attempt at conquer may be badly punished. I've definitely become older and slower, but like to flatter myself that I've also become just a tiny bit smarter. What's more certain, though, is that I've become significantly blinder, even to the extent of mistaking the upwind rock for being the flagged one while looking for the perfect placement on the wave. The next thing I knew is my mast had hit bottom and the board went flying above my head. After that, I struggled badly to save myself in the kit, but the current took me so close to the flagged rock that I could feel how my rig got rubbed. Thank heaven my skin didn't receive the same treatment. They say that a mistake made twice is a decision, and I have in fact had a similar experience here some 15 years ago. That is a funny story. When you're windsurfing around rocks, it's important to always be aware of where they are. And often I think you don't want to think too much about them beyond that. So you're aware of where they are, but then not scared of them. And so you can come very close. But this is a funny story and counterexample where, so it sounds like uh, Jan was windsurfing and he thought this rock was this rock. And so he thought he had a lot of room downwind, but then didn't at all. That can definitely happen. I've had a similar experience at Hokipa where we have, the infamous Hokipa rocks. And I thought that, so there are a few rocks that stick out and two prominent ones. And I thought that the downwind one was the upwind one once. And just upwind of that upwind rock is a little cove, a safety cove. And you can go in there. It doesn't matter what's going on with the waves. You're always safe. And so I thought I was sailing into there when in fact I was actually just sailing right into the rocks because it was the downwind rock, not the upwind rock. All right, Dave has a post which we talked about last week about speed in El Medano. I wonder if there's an update. Looks like we don't have much of an update. Hans posted this double strap backstrap board from Robbie, which I don't think you want to do. The reason we brought this up is because I was saying that with most wave boards in most spots, unless it's really windy, you don't want to be in the backstrap all the time. And so you want to get comfortable windsurfing out of the backstrap because the backstrap is in a position for wave riding, not for planing. And if you're in the backstrap all the time, you're sinking the tail, you'll be going slower, it'll be harder to get planing. All right, we talked about all of these issues. That's it. Wow. Okay, so let's see. So I had some video from Matt that didn't play last time that I downloaded. Let me see if I can upload that to this stream. Let's see if this will work. You guys can be my guinea pig. Let's see if we can get this to work. All right, is that working for everyone? So is that video playing smoothly? It's great if so, because this is an easier way to analyze this footage. And so some of these ways we looked at in the Facebook group, but some of them didn't work. And so I want to go through the ones that weren't playing last week. Cool. I'm glad that this is working. I had trouble with this in the past where the video wouldn't play smoothly, but it looks like it's working great. Don't want to jinx it. Boom. That's a high five. Oh, it's coming through low resolution, huh? Yeah, so Matt, we already talked about most of this footage last week, and I love the journey you're on. I want to see which waves we weren't able to talk about. We talked about that high five. I love the excitement. All right, so Christoph, you're saying that the resolution is low. Is it too low to do the coaching with? Is it lower than the videos on Facebook? I love this wave. I know we talked about this wave last week, but I just love the energy in this where, so Matt does, all right, one hit. Oh, sorry, it's the next wave. This one hit, right into the next hit, 2 hits, coming right into the next turn, heading off the wave. Yeah, looking for the high five section. So this wave I don't think we watched last week. This one it looks like, Matt, you're turning just a little bit earlier before the whitewater rather than letting the whitewater turn your board for you. And I think I mentioned this last week, when you have a mix of videos like this, and in some of the clips you're doing what you want to do, like getting the high fives, and in some of them you're not, don't obsess over the ones where you're not, because your body knows how to do it. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's just about getting more time on the water. And instead of 20% of the time where you're making the high fives, or 30% of the time, it will start to be 40 to 60% of the time, and 70 to 80% of the time. See, it's really important not to obsess on the ones that aren't working, because this is great. Like, that was a nice little high five without much speed. And then there's some epic high fives in here. And like I said, I love the energy where you're going bottom turn to bottom turn, getting a little backside. Boom, some rail. So what's going on with this cutback? Let's see why this cutback stops. So here, I mean, you make it and you're getting some rail engagement. If you move this backhand farther forward and you're hanging a little bit more from the boom, so getting your butt a little bit lower with the hips less pushed forward, this will be a smoother turn, because the sails is pulling less down the line. But it's fine. That's a small thing. I like this bottom turn. You're leaning over, getting that butt out. Boom. Yeah. Nice work, Matt. I like the journey. I like the journey. I don't know if there's anything else I can add that we didn't talk about last week. Yeah, so Max is saying oversheeted because of the backhand. So yeah, like I said, if you move that backhand farther forward, that will help so you don't get stuck in that cutback position. It just helps free things up. All right. Cool. I will post the information about the Vulcan course and where the Patreon newsletter stuff is moving to. I'm still in the process. It's still being set up, but let's just move and get things going. So I'll be developing it more over the next month or two, but I think it's at a point now where we can start. So I'll post all of those to the Facebook group and as well to the YouTube. So if you're not in the Facebook group, just check the YouTube channel and it will be an announcement there. Can we get a show of hands in the chat? Which of you guys want to join the Vulcan course? Who from the chat is joining the Vulcan course? Let's see a show of hands. And if you have any questions, this is a great time to ask me, because I can obviously just answer it easily. If you are missing, if you're not watching this live and you're watching this later, you can just ask questions as well in the comments when I make the post. All right, Dana, peace. All right, Steen, yeah, I'd love to see you in the Vulcan course. Ragnar, thinking about it. Yeah, Jorg. Nice. Cool. You guys have any questions? Are there any Vulcan questions? And again, I'll post this to the Facebook group and as well to the YouTube channel. And I'm still setting up the platform and everything. All right, Dom Dom is asking, what are my thoughts on the Unified Wave Tour? Matt, you're not too old. You're not too old. But you have to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable. I don't want anyone going into it who's not comfortable. Like if you're worried, you feel like you're gonna hurt your ankles or something, then don't do it. But the Vulcan is an accessible move, um, especially if you're doing it on a waveboard. This is kind of I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but it can be more dangerous learning freestyle on a freestyle board than a waveboard because the freestyle boards are so wide that if your feet are stuck in the straps, the board isn't going to move around. Whereas if you're on a waveboard and your feet are in the straps and you're coming over, then the board will also tip over, right? So then you don't have as much pressure against your ankles. So you can catch up on the recordings. So it's like the tacking course. So everything is taught live, but then there's the recordings. So if you can't make one of the sessions, you can watch it back. Max, I cannot give you new knees, but Jeff in Oregon can. Jeff, are you with us? What's the how does someone go about getting new knees? Dom asked about the Unified Wave Tour. So I wish that the Unified Wave Tour had happened 10 years ago when I was more in my competitive prime, and I would have had a really different pro career if that was the case. Because so for people who don't know, you have the PWA Tour, which is the world tour, and the spots are mainly onshore port tack spots, and IWT Tour, which grew out of the AWT Tour, and it's less professional, but in spots that are better for wave riding, and also just different spots. So, for example, Japan, which isn't an epic down the line spot, but really fun windsurfing, and there's a huge windsurfing community in Japan, and yeah. So anyway, so we've been trying to get the tours together for a long time, and it's something that I was working really hard on 4 to 5 years ago, and it just wouldn't work because the PWA sailors didn't want to reduce their standards as much. The IWT management didn't want to compromise their format as much, but that's changed, and now we've reached a point where the PWA sailors are okay cutting standards a lot to go to better locations. So what does that mean, cutting standards? It means reducing prize money dramatically. It means even reducing things like judging standards, reducing things like live stream quality, just to get to locations that have better conditions. And I ultimately think it's really good for the sport. Selfishly, I wish it happened earlier because I would have really liked to compete more in these locations. I'm going to do some of the events, but now my focus has shifted away from being a full-time competitor. I'm focusing on the coaching. I want to get more and more into the coaching. And what's interesting for me, because I didn't think, I don't know if I've said this publicly, but before I started doing the coaching, I think I was kind of snobby about coaching. I had the idea of, you've heard that phrase, those who can do, those who can't teach. And I had no interest in coaching. I was just focused on competing and working on getting better. But I was so wrong. And the coaching has been so rewarding, and it was something I got into originally just to give back. For those of you guys who have been here since day one, you remember this, but if you joined later, um, COVID was happening, lockdowns were happening, people were stuck at home. So I just wanted to interact with windsurfers stuck at home, give back. And in the beginning, it wasn't even exclusively coaching. I did other interviews. But then I found that people like the coaching and I like the coaching. And it's so satisfying in the competition where everyone's competing against each other and it's so much about ego. It's not fulfilling. It's not very fulfilling. You win an event, and I've won events, you're happy for a few days, and then you're looking at the next event. It's a very, very fleeting happiness. And if you didn't win, you're unhappy. And most people don't win. So you've got 32 competitors, 48 competitors, and you have one or two happy people, the winner, and then someone who did a little bit better than they expected to do. But then most of the people are disappointed. They could have done something a little bit better. They should have landed their one-handed back loop. They should have gone for a goiter instead of just an arrow, whatever it is. And they're kind of unhappy with themselves. I'll train better. I'll do better next time, blah, 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 blah. But contrast that to the coaching. It's so rewarding. And I just love seeing you guys succeed. And it's a really nice feeling taking all of these things I've learned over the last 22 years of being I haven't been a pro windsurfer for 22 years. I've been windsurfing for 24 years or whatever it is, but I've been a pro windsurfer for 18 years, something since I was 15. I did my first World Cup when I was 15. And actually, I did my first World Cup when I was 14. Yeah, anyway, it's just amazing to share all these things I've learned. It's so fulfilling. It's way more rewarding and creates way more happiness than focusing on competition. So that's what I'm transitioning my focus to. I'll still do some of the events on the Unified Wave Tour. It's super cool. I'm happy that it happened. I wish it happened earlier. I've, of course, been involved in this and all the discussions. I'm no longer on the PWA management board. I stepped down last September because I just have too much other stuff going on in my life. But this was one of the things that I felt was most important that we had to do for the Wave Tour when I was on the board, and still do. So I'm pretty happy. And I've been involved in the discussions. Everyone seems really motivated to make a good tour, and it's nice. It's nice to see. Jorg asked about using a wakeboard even on flat water for a Vulcan. I don't think it's a bad idea to use a wakeboard even on flat water. The freestyle boards have their advantages. I think for the initial learning, a wakeboard isn't bad. Once you want to start getting more slide, you want to start going into spocks, the freestyle board has more advantages, but it also depends how comfortable you are on your freestyle board. So if you are already comfortable on a freestyle board, use the freestyle board, go for it. If not, and you're more comfortable on the wakeboard, use the wakeboard. I think that distinction isn't as hard and fast as people make it out to be. So Ragnar's asking about using a freestyle fin in a wakeboard. And for the Vulcan, I wouldn't even recommend that. For grubbies and spocks and these other moves where you're sliding a 360, yes. But the Vulcan, you're sliding in a line. You're not sliding in a circle. So having a big fin isn't as much of a detriment, or isn't a detriment, like it is for those other moves. So I recommend sticking with your standard fin when you're learning the Vulcan. Also, it helps you with the confidence for the pop and the initiation into the move. As you get more advanced, then you can start putting in a smaller fin for your sliding freestyle. All right, guys. We've got time for one more question. Do we have another question? I'm going to be more involved in the Facebook group this week. I've been so busy setting up this Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah. Let me get this set up. So what does this look like? Let me show you. Yeah, Tomas is saying freestyle wakeboards. Those are great for this freestyle. One thing that you have to remember is that the freestyle boards, the hardcore freestyle boards that are sold by the brands, are made for doing PWA highest level freestyle. So the rules are for PWA freestyle competition that the boards need to be production boards. That means that the brands are making boards and producing them in their production lineup that are specifically designed for their competitors. And those are very different moves that they're trying to do than what 99% of the windsurfing public is trying to do. And the brands, I don't know. I don't think it makes sense. I think it would make more sense to have custom boards for the pro riders and freestyle boards that are made more for what most people want to do. But that's not how it works. So you have to be careful getting freestyle boards. You have to make sure that it is really what you want, and you have to try it. And for some people that are doing advanced freestyle moves, great, then that is for you. But just know that it's more advanced, and for most people, it might be too advanced. The freestyle boards that are on the market. Tomas is saying that if you can pop a freestyle board, learning is easier than on a waveboard. Yeah, that might be true. Might not be true. I'm not sure. With the Vulcan, with some freestyle moves, that's definitely true. With the Vulcan, I'm not sure. I think a freestyle board. I think the freestyle board starts to pay its dividends with other moves, with more rotational moves, where you're sliding. With the Vulcan, having the volume in the back is nice because then you can, float on that cushion, so you're not sinking the tail. But I don't know. I think wakeboards also work for the Vulcan. That's less true with other freestyle moves. With something like a Spock, it gets a lot easier on a freestyle board than on a wakeboard, with the fatter rails and the way the volume is distributed and everything else. But the Vulcan, I'm not sure. I mean, there are definitely advantages to the freestyle board where you have that volume, you have something to stand on, something to float on, helps you with that slide back. But then it is also harder to pop. It's wider, so you have more pressure on your ankles. It's a trade-off. John is saying he's trying to find some housing on Maui, and the prices are crazy. Yes, they are. I hope you can find something, because that would be an awesome trip. I don't have anything to offer at the moment, but I hope in a few years to have some accommodation I can offer. John is going to get some cross-off waves today. Nice. Some down the line. Dave is going to pick. Who are you going to pick up in Dublin? When is the 2-star event? When is the Mayhem? That sounds fun. Maybe I'll join. Oh yeah, so I wanted to show you guys the how do I find this? So I want to show you the Vulcan page. And so this is rough. I'm going to be making this better. So okay. So this is what it looks like, and you can pre-order. You can see the different workshops and the timing for each one. Yeah, so the 8th, the 15th. Okay, so this is wrong, so I've got to update this. So this should be the 22nd. So it's every Wednesday. And then you just go through this sign-up process. You have to let me know how it is, because this is the first time that I'm using this platform, and yeah, we'll figure it out together. But it seems really cool. It seems better than anything else we've used before. Kevin is giving some good advice to go the local route on Maui. Craigslist, Nextdoor, Facebook groups. Then just try to be careful about scammers. So Kevin is a member of our Facebook group. He's also one of the moderators. Thank you, Kevin, for putting your time to moderate. Dom as well. Thank you, Dom. And he's on Maui now. He comes to Maui regularly, so he's a good resource. Kevin, I don't know if you're into sharing, but if you want to connect with John, maybe you have some advice for him. You guys can do that through the Facebook group or something. Dave is saying that the Mayhem is in September, October. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Is it starboard tack or port tack normally? Not that it matters. I'm just curious. I feel comfortable in both, but just curious. Sounds fun. Let's see where I am. I've got to finish planning my year. My idea now is to be on Maui until mid-May, do a masterclass, let's say end of April, beginning of May. I mean, if we have enough interest, I could do 2 masterclasses here. And then go to Europe. We'll do some coaching, definitely do the Denmark coaching in September. And we'll see what else. I'm not sure if there'll be time for anything else. So Kevin is saying he found 2 places on Nextdoor. I don't necessarily understand what that means, but hopefully that's helpful, John. Rich is saying he's got a question about the Ezzy sales. He bought a set of 2022 waves coming from the Taka. Feels the difference as the waves are more stable, easy and direct, yet powerful. Sounds good. I don't see a question though. Rich, what's your question? Dave is saying both tacks. Kevin says that some people have no hana. So an ohana means family, and often the properties here, they have a main house and a smaller house, like a cottage, that then is called an ohana. So then a nohana is a small house, a cottage that's on the property that's not legal to rent short term, and so they're not posted on any of the sites like Airbnb or something, and they want medium term tenants. Yeah, Kevin has a lot of experience with this stuff. Yeah, so Rich, those sound like the differences that we meant to put in the sale. More direct power compared to the Takas, depending on what year Taka, also lighter, more stable, quicker to get planing. Yeah, I hope you like them. Yeah, so Kevin, you guys connect on Facebook, and oh, nice. Glad to hear you like it, Rich. Yeah, Matt. Yep, and I'll post the details about the Vulcan course. Again, figuring out this platform, but it's a platform that I think offers us a lot of growth, because I want to do a lot more courses more regularly virtually. So doing the Vulcan course, I've been planning out a wave sailing basics course, and then you guys can help guide as well with what you want to learn. and then I can start designing the courses. Hey, to Cape Town. Yeah, so this is Caro. So she's saying no footage. She feels lost on the 360, no progress. The main thing I would say, so I want to see some footage of the 360. I want to see some videos of your 360s, which I know you don't have. But if you get that, that would be really helpful. I think the number one thing from where you were before is your placement on the wave. And so you were doing a lot of the goose screws going into the section or on the whitewater. And you want to make sure for the next step that you're doing them with unbroken wave in front of you. And so the wave is steep and you're traveling with the wave. So it's steep, you're traveling with the wave, but down the line from you is unbroken. And that will make sure the mast doesn't hit and will set you up to get comfortable with better timing that relates to wave 360 rather than just the goose screw. So that would be one thing to focus on is your placement. You want to make sure you're getting some height off the back of the wave. So it's got to be steep. But Cape Town has a lot of opportunity for that. If you get some photos or video, I really want to see it, post it in the group, and we'll talk about it on the live stream. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to post the details about the Vulcan course and about the future of the newsletter, how that's changing. So look out for those updates. I'll also do, there's a lot of posts I have to do. I'll also do the post about the Maui masterclasses, and then we'll just go from there. All right, everyone. I hope you have a good windy week. Thank you for stopping by and spending your Sunday with me. I enjoy it. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.